So first of all, I would like to thank you for the reception and taking your time to deliver this statement that is very, very important to not just me, but to all Gambians and others who are not Gambians. Like it is very important to shed light on some of these areas. You mentioned in your opening statement that there are 81 regions, if I'm not wrong, in this country,
Right.
and almost all of them have detention centers. So I was taking note of the places you visited, and according to what I got here, you have been to 4 out of 81. So I don't know if the number is small to me or within 2023 to now, you have been to only 4 detention centers. I just want to know, like, if you have plans to go into more detention centers, or you are just waiting for people to call onto you before you visit some of these centers.
Now, considering the vast expanse of Turkey and the 81 regions, some of them have got more than one detention center. So you're looking at anything between 81 to 100 detention centers. And the limited resources that we have, because this impacts on, welfare. The welfare budget, is very paltry. I wouldn't reveal that figure, but I know that, it is very, very small. And like I also indicated in my opening statement, we cannot go on a fishing expedition, going to knock on the detention centers' doors to say, do you have any Gambian here? No, then we pass to the next one. So our consular visits are determined by, one, the authorities, detention authorities, calling us or notifying us that they have got Gambians there, or the Gambians that are being detained there themselves, notifying us, and they have that right. They get a line to call, or they can, do it through the authorities to say, we want our embassy to be notified of our presence here. Then once we get that notification, then that triggers the next action for us to apply to the Turkish authorities, that is the Turkish Ministry of the Interior and the Ministry of Justice, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to say, we have got X number of Gambians, or only one Gambian. It suffices us to go and visit. Remember, I told you that there was a female detainee who notified us, and we applied to visit her. Then once that permit or permission is granted, we will constitute a team to go there. And when we are going there, we do not go empty-handed. We try to go with something, either cash or some clothing, some toiletries to take along. So our visits that I have indicated to you are dictated by, the request from the Gambians or from the authorities notifying us of the presence of Gambians there. But most active, for the focal point really is, Istanbul and Izmir of late. Izmir has become a hotspot because of the crossing opportunities they have to Greece. And this is a racket that is going on, emanating from the Gambia and Gambians, the so-called agents who get conference visas for Gambians, visitors visas, bring them over there, and they do not want to be in contact with the embassy at all. They don't want us to be involved. They cite that the only time we hear if things go wrong. That's the only time we are aware of their presence. Thank you.
Yeah, according to your documents or records at the embassy here, can you tell us how many undocumented Gambians are currently in Turkey? Do you have an idea?
we do not have, what we have is very scanty. Because we try to, how do you call it, get the information from there. It's supposed to be voluntary. When you come into the country, register with your embassy. Gambians generally don't do that. We use the Gambian Association in Turkey, which is in Istanbul, headquarters, to capture the majority of Gambians and those who are present over here. As per our records, the last time it was 251 of the economic migrants. The students, it's easy, 308. We are in constant rapport with them. So you add those two, it's like 560, somewhere about.
So you talked about issuing or issuance of consular cards by the embassy. Consular cards, right?
Which one?
Consular cards to
Right.
people. You said you issued 52 so far.
Yes.
Consular cards,
Right.
right? You talked about it, but you did not mention the validity period. Like how long can somebody use it?
It's 2 years.
So I spoke to some Gambians in Izmir, like you said. It is a transit point, I'm aware. And most of them complain that sometimes when they want to get across to the embassy, like to call or to send in a message, it's very, very difficult for them. They will call and the embassy will not respond. Sometimes they will tell them, we will call you back, and they will never do. Are these claims true?
In the first instance, the embassy has got operational hours. The landline can only be accessed from 9 to 5. If you call the landline, it's between 9 to 5. You can get somebody. After 5 o'clock, everybody's gone home. However, we've got a dedicated, portable phone or cell phone, which is with our welfare officer. If he is not around, it's between my first secretary and the deputy head of mission. They handle it. And they would always pick up calls. It is natural and normal enough for us to have missed calls. Even our private lives, sitting home. You perform your prayer, you come back, you find a missed call on your telephone. That's normal. You are busy doing something else, have a missed call. But they pick the calls. One problem that people do not realize is those in detention, when they make a call, it's only one-way traffic. They are calling from a telephone booth that you cannot return the call. So if you see that missed call, you cannot return it. You have to wait for the person to call. And when we receive the calls, we will register them, ask them how many of them you have over there. Do they want a consular visit? And we tell them clearly that when we visit, we have got limitations. We cannot intervene legally. In other words, we cannot, fight for your legal rights for the reason why you are detained over there. We can fight or ensure that you get your basic human rights as a detainee in terms of how many people are in your cell. Is your cell, equipped adequately for one person to a bed? Do you have a toilet? Is it overcrowded? Those kind of things, right? Do you have rodents or, infestation of whatever, Are you staying with somebody who's, communicable diseases? Those things. Are you well fed? Those are fundamental human rights we ensure. But beyond that, we cannot fight for you to be released. So phone calls, yes. Why would I give my personal as an ambassador? No other ambassador does it. Not even this, well, I wouldn't name any other country. But when I tell my colleagues that I've given my card to the Gambian, association for them to circulate it on their platform, they tell me, hey, I don't know why you do that. You shouldn't do that. So these are things that we have done because we are Gambians. You tell me 1, 2, 3, then I'm connected with you. Open, way of interacting with the population over here, but I have limitations. And the other thing is they will sit until 2 a.m. and call you at night. Really, we should have respect for each other. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this will be my last question. It has to do with those who are detained at the prisons.
Right.
I was meant to understand that once you are caught in the waters trying to go to Greece, you'll be jailed for 1 year. So some of them told me that they were jailed, they paid for lawyer fee, they did not get released after paying $1,000 or $1,005. So once they were released also, they also paid to get documents, like maybe residence permit, according to what I understand what they were talking about. But they are still finding it difficult to get those documents after paying the money. So I don't know whether you are aware of that.
The Turkish authorities have got their laws. The administrative detention and release have got conditions attached to it. As an embassy, we have not been able to see anybody, conditions being violated. The ones that we have seen, the president of the Gambian Association was detained for almost a year, about 8 to 9 months. He got released and conditional release. The spokesperson of the same association was also, detained. After 2.5 months, less than 3 months, he was released. These two different people, one was released after serving almost a year. The other one was served based on medical grounds I indicated. The other one got a lawyer who was fighting for him. And these are things, once they release you, you will, go sign at a designated police station, and some of them will argue that, they are assigned to a place which is not convenient with them. They want to live in Izmir. You cannot dictate that. It is the authorities that determine where you are going to be assigned to be. Now, if you fail to be reporting on regular, whether it's 2 weeks or 1 month, once a month, you fail to be, then you become a fugitive. They will cancel your document.
So that means there's no way you can get a document, or it might be very difficult for you to get a document after that.
Yeah.
If there's any other thing you want to add on to the discussion, I would really appreciate that. Or any of your colleagues. Yeah.
Well, as a journalist, I would also urge you to investigate into the human trafficking ring that is operating between the Gambia and Izmir. We know that there are Gambians, like I mentioned in my opening statement, organizing Gambians and facilitating the issuance of a visa, conference visas, people who are not working for government. What conference are they coming for? Why would you have such a high volume of Gambians coming for conference in Turkey? What's going on? We need to investigate into that. It's a racket out there. When they bring the Gambians, they are staging them to cross over to Greece, that is the European side. And remember, Turkey is very, very concerned about, becoming part of Europe. One of the reasons why Europe is pushing against Turkey becoming part of Europe is because of the porous borders that they have. They're telling them that you are not controlling your borders, and therefore, once we make you part of Europe, automatically people will just come in and they are in Europe. So they are trying to prove to Europe that they are very firm on immigration. So if you have these rackets going on, starting from the Gambia, so I want you to do some kind of investigative journalism, and uncover these things, because they are creating a problem for Gambian citizens. And guess what? Between Izmir and, Greece, you attempt to cross by the sea. If you are lucky, the Turkish authorities capture you. If you are unlucky, you know what happens to you? They go in a dingy boat. The Greek authorities fire at the boats and they sink. So those ones have no story to narrate. We are not talking to them. The ones that tell their story is the ones who are captured by the Turkish authorities and brought back here and put in detention centers. They should count themselves lucky. Thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the trouble of coming to the embassy to ask questions. You want clarity, and that is the main reason why we have granted you. Otherwise, we've never had you in social media making any unfounded statements or assumptions here. The embassy has 6 diplomats. Half of them, 50%, are committed to the issue of the migrants. That is from my deputy, full-time. For secretary, we also have the protocol and welfare officer, who is on vacation right now out of the country. So that is 3 out of 6, and anytime, any moment they need me to give them support, I'm always available. And the last consular visit that we had between the deputy consular welfare officer, the financial attaché also went on the trip. Now, that demonstrates that the whole team is committed to the issue of the migrants. Our goal is for the economic migrants to get their residence permits to be legal. That is, something that we will be, very proud to say, oh yes, we've been able to do it. We'll never work against the interests of the Gambia and Gambians. That is not our mission here. So to say that we neglect them, no. I mean, they are never neglected. So we are so much happy and thankful to you taking the trouble of making a courtesy call to the embassy and requesting for an interview. But we will urge Gambians, even if they come for a 1-week business transaction here, make it a point of duty to register your presence to the embassy. That is an obligation you owe the embassy, so that we'll be able to map out how many Gambians we have here. In terms of emergencies or crises, we should be able to reach out. For example, during the earthquake 2 years ago, we were able to reach out to 6 Gambians who were in the active area in Adana, that's the Syrian border, and Gaziantep. One of them is a footballer. We were able to participate in, winching him out. The other one is a teacher. Another one is a UN employee, UNESCO employee. The other 3 are students. Now, we were able to reach out to them because they were captured in our, map. Otherwise, we wouldn't know. But once it happened, we were able to reach out to all of them and participate in rescuing them, to relocate them. So as a result, we would urge every Gambian, once you step into, Turkey, register with the embassy. We will be able to know who you are, where you are, what's your nature of your business. If you fall into trouble, yeah, this is it, right? Thank you very much.